Hey, welcome to Pro Football Ireland, Jeff Reinbold Show. Man, we are under 13 Sundays now from the NFL season. Jeff, remember when you tell yourself that like you're going to relax and you're going to have a chilled off season? And here we are on the 12th of June talking absolute rubbish. I'm only joking. How are you doing? You good? You good?
I'm doing great. What do you mean talking rubbish?
You know what it is? I literally sat down on Saturday, I turned my phone off, and like, don't get me wrong, it's been a great off season. Like, I have been humbled by the amount of people that are supporting stuff, listening to stuff, interacting. It's been great crack. Haven't stopped. Like you haven't stopped. I haven't stopped. So it's just like, do you know what it's like? God, we have to try and find some energy here because it's going to be a long year sort of situation. Owen Murphy, do you remember him? Kilkenny hurler.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Dublin. He had, and shout out to Owen here, man. I know there's people in the UK going, man, shut up. I'm like 2 second conversation here. Those guys had a hell of a game yesterday. Hell of a game, like where they won in the last second, and he was crying. I think Owen was crying, but we'll have to get Owen on again to talk some Ravens, and obviously Ravens coming to London as well. So I know Owen's a busy man at the minute. He's in the season, but definitely good crack. So shout out to him. We're gonna have a bit of crack here.
Tell him I said hello when you talk to him, and tell him he's got to send me a jersey, an autographed jersey, and I'll hang it in my office if he'll do it. Hey, speaking of Irish stars, and Irish stars that are making an impact in the sporting world, how about our guy Russ Bolger signing a scholarship, a letter of intent to go to Idaho State University as a kicker and punter? Big shout out to tag leader, who has really worked so hard with Ross. He found Ross, recognized the talent that Ross has. He's worked with him. He's marketed him. He helped him get to the United States to get into some kicking camps. The kid did outstanding, had multiple offers to play college football, decided on Idaho State. And I am extremely, extremely happy for him, proud of him. And again, two guys who sat on our stage in Dublin and, talked about this dream that they were going to go and make it happen. And damned if they didn't do it, Mike.
It's really great to see. And I think it says an awful lot, not just about the growth in Ireland, but I know there's a lot of people who listen to this podcast feed also from the UK, and you can see so many guys now with the NFL Academy in London that are just going over and they're getting offers left, right, and centre, and it's fantastic. Obviously, I'm buzzing that Ross got an offer. It's great to see and appreciate the work that him and Tiger are doing. So long may that continue in the very, very best in Idaho. Lopez Sanusi, who played for the Belfast Trojans, has got an offer from the University of Buffalo, and he's delighted, buzzing. If you're listening to this, folks, we have somebody from the Trojans coming on this week on this podcast feed. But certainly, Jeff, the game in the UK, the game in Ireland is growing to levels that I think people, I guess I never expected it. I didn't. I will give Owen Murphy a shout about that jersey. I will let him know. I promise. We're going to do two each. We're going to have a bit of crack here, right? Full predictions between now and the rest of the off season. My first one is this: Dalvin Cook goes to Miami this week. I think he signs with the Dolphins this week. I don't know for how much, but he put on Instagram the other day. Basically, like, Jeff, Jeff, I know you're a big Instagram user, and I know you texted me last night. We're gonna get you an Instagram going this week, but I think he goes to the Dolphins in a really interesting time in Miami. Lionel Messi going to Miami. All the stars are going there. Maybe Tom Brady might go down there for a laugh as well. Imagine you bring Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, and then you bring in Dalvin Cook. Now, they're quite locked there if they bring him in. I think he goes. I think Dalvin Cook will be a Miami Dolphin in the next 10 to 14 days. What sayeth you?
I think that certainly the Dolphins are going to load up if they can. They've got to, because you're talking about being in a stacked division, and it's an arms race right now in that division. The one that I'm anxious to see where he goes is D-Hop. What's going to happen with him? Because I think that there are some teams in that division that could certainly use him. Can you imagine what he would do to upgrade the Patriots pass game? And they have not had a receiver in New England for a long time. I think stick him in Buffalo and see how that, watch that merry-go-round. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, he's an elite talent, and he's going to be somewhere, and I think he wants to go somewhere where he has a chance to win. And certainly there are teams in that division that recognize that they've got to load up. Last week we saw Floyd go to the Bills. We saw Ed Oliver sign with the Bills. Again, Shane Ray signed with the Bills.
Yeah.
Those teams recognize that you can't, in that division, you can't sit on your hands and expect that you're going to continue to win because everybody's loading up.
So is your bold prediction then that D-Hop's going to go to the Patriots? Is that your?
Well, I'm not going to say that because I think that one is almost too bold. But
I think he does, Jeff. I think you got Juju there. You got Devontae Parker there, and who else have you got?
Well, yeah, think about it. Like everybody says, well, he's not a Belichick kind of guy. Well, remember Randy Moss was there too, right? And there might not be anybody that you'd say is less of a Belichick kind of guy than Randy Moss was, but Randy Moss was able to go there and have a tremendous amount of success at the end of his career. So I think it could work. I just don't know if it's going to happen. But certainly, if New England, I think, is one of those places that has to upgrade their talent offensively around Mac Jones if they want to have a chance of being a factor in that division.
What's your bold prediction? Go shout it out.
My bold prediction is that the Raiders will win less than 6 games this year.
Jesus, Chad. This is meant to be like from now to the start of the season. But I love it. Less than 6 games.
I just really, the more I watch them, there's so many questions. And we talked about, or we're going to talk about the AFC West on the podcast. I just, I don't see the improvement that they need on defense. I don't know, Jimmy G's health is such an issue. I think there are way, way, way too many questions, and you're in a division that the Broncos are going to be better. The Chargers should be better. The Chiefs are an elite team. You got a tough schedule. And I certainly don't say that because, I like the Raiders. I'm a Raider fan, but I look at that schedule and I say, how are they going to win 6 games with where they're at right now?
Funny because well, it's not funny at all. I'm saying it's funny because you look at that division, and we have this AFC West preview coming out this week. I don't think the Broncos are going to win that many games, so I'm intrigued to see what you think about the Raiders as well there, because I think one of those teams is going to completely shock us there. Here's my next bold prediction. Between now and the start of the season, I think Trey Lance is traded. I don't know where. I don't know when. I don't know how. Well, he's traded, but I don't know what the compensation would be. But I think he's traded, and I think he balls out wherever he goes. There you go. We talked, Jeff. We talked about the Giants and the NFC East. We had an argument with Daniel Jones. There's a guy that I never even thought about there now. But where do you think he could say? Look, he will most likely stay in San Fran at least for the considerable future. But where do you think he would end up if he did go somewhere?
Well, again, that's really so hard to say because he's such he's an enigma. You don't know anything about him. He hasn't played enough, right? He hardly played in college. He played, just a few seasons in college, at a not elite level program. He's been hurt. He hasn't been on the field. I mean, he's a name because he was drafted so high, and he had, about a 1.5-year career at North Dakota State where he was, against low-level Division I program or competition rather, and he played extremely well, but he hasn't shown, what's he done in the NFL? And right, this is a, what have you done for me lately league, right? And right now he hasn't done much of anything for anybody. But I do think that they'll hold on to him. I think they have to hold on to him for a while because you're talking about, Brock Purdy coming off of, elbow surgery. And yes, he is throwing the ball. And yes, he is supposedly ahead of schedule and all those other things. But, I think one thing we've learned in the last few years is the teams that have a serviceable backup, a guy that can get you through a game or get you through 2 or 3 games, have a much better chance, because it is really, even though they protect these quarterbacks so much now, it is really difficult for a quarterback to stay healthy for 17 weeks.
Right, give us another prediction, my friend. Between now and the start of the season, what can happen?
Well, I'm going to say that between now and the start of the season, that Josh Allen, who is on the Madden cover, right?
There you go.
Completely obliterates the Madden curse, and comes out and has a tremendous preseason and start to the season.
Okay, fair enough. Who was on the cover of Madden last year? Now I think about it.
I think it was a guy named Pat Mahomes, if I'm not mistaken. But
Madden 23 was John Madden. God rest him. Madden 22 was Brady and Mahomes on the one cover. How lucky we were. How lucky we were.
I think we could, if Josh Allen does what I think he'll do, then I think we can officially retire the Madden curse.
Okay. Well, I am going to say mine. I think, and maybe this is a bit mad, I think Chase Young goes in the next 2 weeks somewhere. And I'm going to say one team will load up and go after him. And it's not Detroit. I think the team will work out the cap space and they'll be able to try and mix him in rotation. I think the Steelers will go after Chase Young. And by God, imagine an improved Kenny Pickett on the offense and Chase Young coming in there. Eh? That would be fun to watch, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, you think of him and you think of him as a defensive end, but the Steelers have historically been a 3-4 team. Matching him at what they call the elephant backer position, which is the one opposite of TJ Watt. Now that's some edge pressure now. And and you still got Highsmith coming back, who was an outstanding player too. That kind of move could be one of those things that puts Steelers at the next level.
Right, let's end this discussion with one crazy prediction each, like ridiculous prediction that might happen but probably won't happen. Go for it.
That Michael McQuaid will not drink a Guinness this week.
Probably won't. I'm talking about the NFL, Jeffrey. What's up? Tell us.
What do I a crazy prediction that's going to happen in the NFL this week?
Yeah. No, just it can be between now and the off season being over. It can be the season. It can be whatever you want. Go for it.
Well, I think one of the things that certainly I'm looking forward to watching, right, is just how big a media circus it's going to be when the Jets open training camp and Hard Knocks is there, because that's my prediction.
Okay, interesting. I just want to get this on the screen to make sure I've got it correctly. In 2020, Deshaun Watson had 4,823 passing yards with the Texans. He goes over 4,900 this year and leads the team to the playoffs. I am not going to say if they win the division. I think the Browns take a step up, which is mad to say.
Who's in their division, Michael?
Steelers, Bengals, Ravens.
What step are they going to take?
It's a group of death, Jeff. It is the group of death. They could beat the Ravens home and away.
Who are they going to beat?
I don't know. But this is the whole thing. Like, what is going to be the ticking point for a team in the AFC to get a wild card this year? 9 wins.
I think you look. Well, let's talk about that division. We're not going to get into the depth that we'll get into when we do our deep dive into the division, but I think there's tremendous amount of anticipation in that division. You mentioned Deshaun Watson. It's the second year in Cleveland, and they should be better if they can be better on defense. They'll run the ball. They've got weapons around him. I think that the intriguing team to me is to be Baltimore. Now Lamar's coming back, and you've got a new offensive coordinator in there that will certainly upgrade that passing game and bring that offense into modern NFL football. And that's not a knock at Greg Roman. It's just that I think that Todd Monken will do a much, much better job of energizing that passing attack. They've gone out and helped themselves. Where I have a little bit of a question about the Ravens is, on defense, which is crazy to hear us talk about the Ravens. They got a question on defense. I think the Steelers are going to take a step. I think their offensive line is better. I think they've got an outstanding running back, Kenny Pickett. Obviously, nobody's worried about his small hands anymore. And they're a team, I think, Mike Tomlin, extremely good coach. And he's got a bunch of good defensive players that have a propensity to get to the quarterback. So I think it's going to be a great, great division. Cincinnati, we didn't even mention them, and you got one of the best quarterbacks in football there.
Have you anything else to say, Jeff, about the current state of this offseason? I just feel like we're just ready now to, just get into it. And
well, I think the key thing is as you look at it, we're 13 weeks away. We've talked, we've recorded kind of deep dive podcasts talking about the NFC East, the AFC West. We're going to continue to do that over the course of the summer and hit every division. I thought we got some outstanding questions from people all over the world, the UK, Ireland, Hawaii, Canada. And as this podcast network continues to grow, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And we want to encourage the fans to grow with us and be a part of this journey.
Obviously, Jeff, you're a big Leeds fan. You're a big Raiders fan also. You must be delighted that the 49ers have bought Leeds over the weekend.
I'm ecstatic because, I think the 49er organization is a quality organization. I think it's a class organization. I think it's a great pairing of two iconic franchises. Obviously, I hope they don't change uniforms. I hope they don't, the traditions that are the Leeds United Football Club, I hope they stay forever. And I hope that the 49er, and I think this is going to happen. I really do believe this. I think they'll be sensitive to the fact that is such an iconic, deeply rooted franchise in that community, that they'll honor those traditions, and hopefully it'll be an influx of cash and an influx of energy. And, it's the Premiership much better than I do, Michael, but if you don't have money and you don't spend money, it's hard to finish in the top half of the division. And so hopefully that will be an influx of cash and energy into the club.
I could think of so many jokes to say there about the Premier League and the fact that they will have to change uniforms because they'll have different number and different patches next season, but I'll not do it. I will say about the Niners, obviously we've seen firsthand last year, they've done some great work in the UK market. They've had parties at Ellen Roads. They've done live shows, live meetup parties. So long may that continue, and the very, very best of luck to them, especially when it merges together a bit. I don't have any other crack. This week we've got the AFC West previews coming up, the NFC East previews coming up. I would ask folks if anyone does have a question. We're going to look at the NFC North and the AFC South next week. So if you have a question for Jeff or me, hit us up on Twitter. And have you anything else to tell us, Jeff, or is that us?
Nope. I'm ready to go to work. I'm ready to get, we get cracking we've got our historic opponent, Toronto, next week on Sunday, Father's Day here, and we play. So if you get a chance, CBS Sports TV.
Midnight, Monday morning, our time.
CFL.ca. You can get the games. You can stream the games. And we need High Cat Nation around the world to step up. So let's go.
If you send me a jersey, Jeff, I'll wear it to Moss this weekend, I promise. So
all right, I got it.
All right,
you're on.
Right, for now, that's Pro Football Ireland, Jeff Reinbold Show. Jeff at Jeff_Reinbold at Michael_NFL. Jeff, thank you for your time, my friend. Iowa, good night. See you soon.
Aloha.